You came home that night expecting the usual quiet. Maybe Irina humming softly in the kitchen. Maybe Yunwu locked away in his room. But instead, the sight waiting for you made you slow your steps. Both John Jungkook and John Yunwoo were already seated at the dining table, their presence filling the space with a heavy, unfamiliar tension. The lights above cast a warm glow, yet the air felt oddly stiff, like something unspoken lingered between them. You hesitated for just a second before pulling out the chair beside Yunwoo and sitting down, placing yourself opposite Jungkook. Hey guys, you greeted softly, your voice light, despite the knot forming in your chest. Both men merely grunted in response, neither lifting their gaze for more than a fleeting second. You pressed your lips together, making your awkwardness, and reached for the glass of water beside your plate. Irina soon appeared, efficient and warm as ever, placing two plates of lamb chops in front of Jungkook and Yunwoo. The smell was rich and heavy. She disappeared briefly before returning with a separate plate for you, chicken parmesan, steaming and golden. Thanks, Irina, you said sincerely, offering her a grateful smile. You remembered how she had asked about your preference days ago, how carefully she listened when you told her you didn't eat red meat. Small kindness like that still surprised you in this house. You took a bite, the familiar comfort of melted cheese and tomato sauce grounding you. As you ate, you felt Yunu's eyes on you. The memory came uninvited. The way he had once commented on how much you ate during the wedding lunch, half mocking, half judging. Your appetite faltered slowly. You set your fork and knife down, pushing the plate slightly away. Jungkook noticed immediately, his eyes lifted, sharp and assessing. "You are not eating?" he asked, his tone calm but observant. "I'm full right now," you replied, forcing a small smile. The lie tasted bitter, but you didn't want questions, didn't want concern or security. Irina could Irina, could you put this in the fridge? Irina frowned slightly, clearly unconvinced. "You know, like?" she asked, worry caressing her features. "I love it," you assured her quickly. "Really, I think it's just cheese today." She nodded, though her eyes lingered on you for a moment longer before she lifted the plate and walked back towards the kitchen. As she did, you noticed Jungkook subtly shifting his seat, his hand pressing briefly to his shoulder. A sharp wince crossed his face before he smoothed it away. Yoonwoo noticed it too. You saw it in the way his jaw clenched, the way his gaze flickered towards his father and then away just as fast. He said nothing. The silence became unbearable. You pushed your chair back slightly. "I'm going to change," you murmured, standing up before anyone could stop you. In your room, you slipped into your pajamas, the familiar fabric easing some of the tension from your body. A few minutes later, Yunwoo Yunwoo entered, loosening his tie as he did. You debated, just for a second, whether you should tell him about Soyeon, about her coming to the boutique, about the wedding. You decided against it. The knowledge would only hurt him, and you didn't want to be the source of that pain. You moved towards the door, ready to leave him to his thoughts when his voice stopped you. "How was your day?" The question surprised you enough that you turned around. No sarcasm, no irritation, just a genuine question. You told him about your work, about the long hours and demanding clients. He listened quietly, then spoke about his own day, meetings, numbers, exhaustion. It felt almost normal. But the time his breathing evened out and sleep claimed him, the house had gone quiet again. You waited a while longer, then slipped out of the room and down the stairs. Your steps careful, deliberate. You stopped outside Jungkook's door, your breath beating louder than it should have. You raised your hand and knocked softly. From inside, his voice came steady and low. "Come in." You stepped into Jungkook's room quietly, closing the door behind you with careful fingers. The space immediately wraps around you in a familiar, unsettling way. It smells like him, clean and masculine, with something deeper beneath it that makes your chest feel tight. A king-size bed is pushed back against the wall, dressed in soft black sheets that look untouched, as if sleep hasn't visited this room in days. Instead of being on the bed, Jungkook sits on the recline near the window, his laptop balanced on his thighs, the glow of the screen reflecting faintly on his sharp features. His posture is rigid, shoulder tense, like he's been holding himself together for far too long. Hey, you said softly, your voice barely disturbing the quiet. You moved closer, standing just behind him. He cranes his neck to look up at you, brows knitting together in mild confusion. What are you doing here? He asked, his tone calm but tired. The kind of tired that seeps into your bones. You hesitated for half a second before answering honestly, trying to give your shoulder massage. A short breath leaves him, almost a scoff. I'm fine, Ryan. Go back to bed. But even as he said it, you saw it. The way he keeps straightening his shoulders, then slouching, then rolling his neck slightly as if trying to ease the pain without admitting it exists. I'm not sleepy, you replied quietly. He sighed, his eyes returning to the laptop screen. Then go do something with Yunwo. You ignored that. Instead, you placed your hands gently on his shoulders, feeling the tension beneath your fingers immediately. You're not fine, you murmured more to yourself than to him, and before he can protest again, you started pressing your fingers into the tight muscles. Slow and careful at first, his body stiffened for a moment, then slowly, reluctantly, begins to give in. A low groan slipped from him before he can stop it. He exhaled deeply, head falling back against the recliner. You shouldn't do that, he muttered, though he doesn't move away. You should stop working like you are trying to punish yourself. You answered, your voice gentle but firm as you continued working out the knots in his shoulder. Your shoulder's been bothering you all evening. I saw it. You noticed too much. He closed his eyes briefly. Someone has to, you said after a few minutes. His laptop is forgotten, his hands resting uselessly at his sides. He tilted his head back further, eyes opening slowly to look at you upside down. The room feels quieter now, heavier. His lips part slightly as he breathes, pink and firm beneath the faint shadow of his subtle stubble. His brows still drawn together in concentration, or maybe something else entirely. You are done? He said softly, not really a question. You pull your hands back as if blown, your heart suddenly racing. Good night, Jungkook, you whispered, not trusting yourself to say anything more. You leave the room quickly closing the door behind you and leaning back against it for a few seconds, pressing your palm to your chest as you try to steady your breathing. Your thoughts are a mess, your heart refusing to slow down. This is wrong. You remind yourself you have no business feeling like this. Once your heartbeat finally settles, you push away from the door and head back to your room. Yunus is still asleep, sprawled carelessly on the bed, his breathing even and peaceful. You quietly unhook your inner change and settle onto the couch instead, staring up at the ceiling. When your eyes finally close, there's only one image behind them, John Jungkook, and it's a crosswalk you should never ever be crossing.